You know, this might be the most important part of this entire video. I'm thrilled with how this machine works out. It's just so easy. And
hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I've got my friend and neighbor, Joe from the Okie Woodsman here on the property. And Joe has brought his new Splitfire log splitter. I've been wanting to run this thing because it is set up a little bit differently than your conventional splitters are. And I really want to get a feel for this thing and just kind of see how it operates. So I figured I'd bring you guys along and we'd see how it works. Joe, is there anything about the splitter that I should know beforehand?
man, it's a Honda engine. It starts and runs easy. Just keep your fingers out of the way. Basically, it'll take just a few strokes back and forth. I know you were a little concerned about like the workflow changing, but I think you'll find that it's pretty easy to acclimate to it. I found it incredibly intuitive, and I am on basically a tour with this machine. Every opportunity I get, I'm going to take it to other local people where I can help them out. He's got some wood to split. We get to finally meet in person.
Yes.
And also have some fun running some machines.
All right, guys, you heard it. Let's put this thing to work and see what it does. All right, everyone, here with Joe. We're looking over the Splitfire 3490. It's kind of got some cool features to it. I was going to get with Joe and have Joe kind of explain some of the features to you. I did not realize how customizable these splitters were until talking with Joe. I'm going to let him kind of explain some of the different things that they can do with these machines. This machine itself, you said, was actually
The 3465.
okay, it's just a customized 3465. That's what you'd find on their website. You're not going to find the 3490. I guess if they contact Splitfire and say, hey, I want this machine, but can we do something different, make it taller, make it high flow, whatever, they can do that for you.
Yes, they have options. Like he was mentioning, this machine, if you go on the Splitfire website, it's listed as a 3465. And I believe, I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I believe the reason why I went that route is because that's the smallest that they have the four-way wedge on.
Okay.
And so I wanted the four-way wedge. And then the next natural progression was putting high flow on it. So there's high flow, that's an upgrade from the 3465. I also specified with my consultation with Splitfire, they asked me what type of vehicle I tow with, how tall I am, and also if I wanted it highway towable or road towable.
Yeah.
All of that changed the dimensions of the machine. It's taller because I didn't want to bend over. That also makes the log lift longer because it needs to go all the way to the ground. That's kind of like the gist of it. You got a larger filter. If you have any specific questions about this machine in general, I think Splitfire, if you mentioned that you saw Okie Woodsman's Splitfire 3490, they'll know exactly what they built for me and they can give you the specs.
Awesome. Yeah, I didn't realize that was a thing. Just the height, for them to build basically a custom splitter for your height, that's going to make it way more comfortable on you.
Yep.
And it's going to make it a lot more pleasurable to operate whenever you're comfortable.
One of my viewers actually ordered this machine, but I want to say that this one's like 4 inches taller than the regular 3465. I want to say he went 8.
Okay.
So imagine, you know, I mean, if you're a taller person or if you have back trouble, they can tailor a machine. They're not all the same. That's the thing is if you were to ever find one used, you're not necessarily, they're not all going to be, might be very well one-offs.
You may have bought one off of somebody that's 6'6".
Yep. Very cool. I'm super excited to run this with Mike. I'm really excited to see what his perception is and how fast he gets into the swing of things. It's going to go a little rough at first because we've never split wood together and he's never operated this machine.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be great.
I think so. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to fire it up. We're going to use the single knife edge because some of these rounds are pretty large. We'll get those broke down and then we're going to put the four-way on. I'll show you how quick and easy it is to change from the four-way to the single wedge on this machine. I'm impressed how quick it is. Then we'll run the four-way through its paces and see how that works on splitting some of the stuff up. Okay, I'm swapping this knife out. It's extremely simple. We got one pin to pull. There's the pin. This knife slides right off, this four-way. And then the single way is just gonna sit right on top. Put the pin back in. Literally less than a minute.
That's a big boy.
It is a big one.
Whoop, you're good. Okay, yeah. Take that.
Ants. I keep wanting to go back with it.
Yeah. Boy, we picked a nasty one first. I did that. That's my fault. You want to split that one more?
Yep. You just feel them crawling all over you.
Yep. There's ants.
Ants.
This is our learning curve piece.
It is.
We'll get rid of this.
Yeah.
Hey, good firewood.
It is. Yeah, I still keep wanting to go back with it.
That's what you're gonna do initially because you're used to it, right?
Yeah.
Yep. This one good?
Yep.
You're good. I'll try to keep that table clear for you.
Oh, you're fine. I'm used to working by myself quite a bit, so it's like, well.
Do you want to try to split this at all anymore?
Yeah, let me try that.
Okay.
Let's just see. It might wad it up.
Yep. Done with this one?
Yeah, that's fine.
One of the things you always want to do is clear your piece, but if you already start moving that back, a lot of times what I'm doing is I'm reaching with my other hand and throwing it as it's going this way. Some twisty hickory right there.
It is. This thing ain't having no problems with it though.
No.
Yeah, that whole thing's just twisted.
It gets a little faster. Sorry. You're good. I should have known better.
John.
I'm just gonna break this off.
Hey, John, start clearing some of this out.
Let's see what happens.
Not a problem.
Yeah. Oh, it didn't break where I thought it would.
No, it didn't.
Huh.
Those dudes are heavy.
Yeah. Wow. Boom.
As twisted and knotted as some of this is, it ain't affecting it at all.
Yep.
That's nice.
Isn't it nice not having to pick it up off the ground?
That is nice.
Go ahead. Look how much wood we have on the table. We haven't bent down yet.
No. This thing's fast.
It is, huh? Hard to say, huh?
Yeah.
I'm always left with those. I'm like, should I go more? When it's this easy, I do.
I try to keep most of it small, but I like bigger logs too when I'm burning wood.
Yeah.
Just a night log.
Yeah. You want this one split?
Yeah, let's go one more on that. Twisted.
Is that good?
Yeah, we'll go.
You done with this?
Yeah.
There's no benefit to stopping.
I feel like ants are all over me. Not a problem.
Awesome, huh? That's a big piece of wood.
That is.
It's long too.
It is.
You done?
Yep.
A lot going on here.
Yes, there is. I was putting ourselves in a little bit of a bind. That table, very handy. This thing's pretty fast.
You can process a lot of wood in a hurry.
Yes, you can. Even with this bevel cut, it's still grabbing.
Yeah.
It's still doing good. Sometimes mine, it'll try to kick it out.
That's why we'll talk about that later. We'll try to remember that. Perfect. This will be a good opportunity to see if it cuts it on the outstroke.
Yeah.
That's a big old knot on the backside. It's flat.
Oh yeah.
A limb. This is going to be interesting. Yeah, you can see it divoted in right back there. All right. Let's see what happens.
I'm going in the same cut mark that I did.
And this is pretty close too.
Well, it wants to.
Yeah. You try. It's like almost doing it each time. There's a lot of pressure there.
Oh yeah, that's some naughty stuff.
We're setting this here. So it's just simply repositioning it in flying.
Just that extra inch has made all the difference.
Yep. That's what we were trying to cut, a limb. See what happens.
Still ripping it apart. It's stout.
Yeah.
For it to rip through that. Okay, we're gonna try out the 4-way wedge now.
Right here. We're good now, okay? Thank you.
Okay, let's see how the 4-way does. That's nice.
Amazing. And you can still split it again if you want.
Yeah.
You know, you end up with a little bit of slash. You want to split it again?
Yeah, that one.
That's that thing I was talking about.
Come back in the hose.
Yeah.
Just something you gotta be mindful of and watching.
Yes.
That is a time savings in its own.
Yeah. And it's easy. And another thing is, keep this in mind. If you just throw your next wood in, you don't have to unload the table yet because it'll unjam itself. Because
Okay.
if it hits the wood.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, because remember your double way action. So let's leave this here. This will pop off.
Okay, yeah.
Most of the time.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See? That's crazy. Just cut right through that knot.
This thing's stout.
I love the design.
Yeah. It did take me a little bit to get used to.
Yeah.
It don't care, it's just taking it.
Wow.
A lot of pressure in this thing. That's crazy.
See, it unjams itself.
That's nice. That is such a back saver.
It is.
Oh yeah, this one's splitting good. I think I may need me one of these.
Fantastic. I'm thrilled with how this machine works out. It's just so easy. And you know what? The knife isn't as fast one direction, but it's also not going back.
If I was to change anything, I would probably add 3 or 4 inches to this on the operator side. Just because some of them bigger ones that I'm hanging on to, it would be nice to have just a little more support. But that's a minute gripe. That's dealing with these large, because when it's splitting down center, you still got half of that big round on your side. So as long as you can push that one out of the way and slide it back down, not a huge deal.
But we didn't have to pick anything up off the ground. Well, on your splitter, you have a natural tendency, and when the wood pops, you stop the knife because you don't want to have to take it all the way in and back out. This one, there's really no advantage to stopping. May as well at least get it most of the way through so you have enough room to put wood over there.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. But yeah, I mean, that is the times, if it pops open, I slam it back and it auto returns, and I'm putting something else in there.
Notice this doesn't have any auto features at all. You have, in order to move the knife, you have to pull the lever. And they said that's for safety.
All right, guys, you've seen the Splitfire in action. Worked great. Swapping out knives from the 4-way to the 2-way, literally less than a minute, probably closer to 30 seconds. Depending on the rounds that we had up, the big ones, running that single edge through it, worked great, busting it down. When we got some logs that were adequate size, we put the 4-way on, and that really sped up the game. If you had a bunch of logs that were consistent size, that 4-way, you would really be able to crank out the wood. The log lift is invaluable on the size of logs that it was able to pick up, something that I would normally either have to use a split maul on or spend the time to noodle it up. This didn't care. It picked it up. We went through knots. We went through straight grain. Going through the knots, I mean, it literally cut the wood. It was not an issue on the cross grain. Very impressed with this machine.
And it's technically a 22-ton machine. So that's, people a lot of times get caught up in the tonnage. But the reality is this does what it's supposed to do, and I can't imagine needing more. We stopped it one time where we flipped the wood.
Yeah.
We tried to, because you have more power on the outstroke, so we had talked about that before, and then we got to actually test it. It didn't split. It looked like it was gonna try to split it.
Yeah.
The reality is all we did was move the log over a couple inches, and then all of a sudden it split, and then we were good.
Yep.
And that was some pretty nasty, gnarly wood.
Yeah, some of that hickory was really, really gnarly stuff.
Yeah, you were talking about the log table. The log table, yeah, for lifting those rounds up, and you were talking about being able to pick up the round. I don't think it was anywhere near its limit either.
No,
it had more to go.
Yeah.
It didn't struggle.
No. And it works extremely well as a work table. Once that's up there and you're splitting these big rounds, being able to not have to put it on the ground and just kind of push it over on the table makes a huge difference.
It was a lot of fun running this machine with another guy that has a lot more firewood experience than myself. It was a great experience. We moved through the wood, and man, I wish some of that earlier wood, I wish we would have started on the straighter grain wood. I didn't know. I was the one that was rolling the logs over, and I brought some cruddy ones right from the get-go.
The very first one was pretty cruddy, but still it split it. When you cut firewood, that's just something you're going to run into.
Yep.
That is part of, not every tree is a straight grain, just perfect size. You get knots, dotiness, just gnarly pieces. This thing didn't care. It went right through it.
And variations in size, right? We didn't have 5 cords of firewood delivered here to just run through like a processor.
Yeah.
In fact, if you did, a processor would be perfect.
Yeah.
When you're doing real life splitting on a farm,
Yeah.
like what you're gonna do with all your trees, we've been around the property today, and he's got a lot of dead standing. He's got blowdowns, all that kind of stuff. There is wood of every size and shape, and he could tow this right to that location and get it done, or he could bring this up. He's got tractors too. It's fantastic to run, I think.
I was impressed. It ran better than I thought it would. This concept I just learned about a few years ago. Splitfire has been in business for a long time, which I didn't know, just now finding that out as of a few years ago. It's a different design, and it takes a minute to understand. It's a little different process than what your conventional log splitter is. But once you kind of get the hang of it, this thing's pretty fast. I mean, you can really crank out the wood with this thing. It was a pleasure to run, and it did a great job.
And how many times did we pick up wood off the ground?
0.
Yeah, I think there was one little round before. I mean, we hadn't even split, and I think it had fallen off the back side. We didn't have to shove a round off because we had to split something.
Yeah.
It helped that there was 2 full-grown men here, but at the same time, it's completely doable, and it was nice watching somebody else run the machine other than my wife or somebody on YouTube.
Yeah. Again, I really appreciate Joe bringing this by to let me use it. He let me run his saws. That'll be a separate video. Joe's made some videos too today, so if you haven't checked out his channel, I don't know why you haven't. It is the Okie Woodsman. A lot of firewood content. He doesn't just do firewood content though. They got a lot of different things. He's building a new shed right now, getting that going. He's got a sawmill. He's got a lot of things going on. I'll put a link to his channel down in the description box to the Okie Woodsman. Go check it out if you haven't.
I appreciate you inviting me over here to get together and do this. I mean, it's so cool. It's so cool. It was really a lot of fun.
I'm glad you came. Me and Joe have talked back and forth for a while. Today we finally got to meet. It was exciting. I had a lot of fun. I've enjoyed the day. I hope you did too.
I did. I absolutely did.
Yeah.
It was great. We got to do it again. And next time you got to come to my place. Or at some point you've got to come to my place.
Yeah, we will. Well, you've got pines everywhere. I don't have a single pine on this property. I would like to have some pines. Maybe I'm just gonna have to plant some. I don't know. But
It almost looks like a different state.
it does. It's crazy, and it's not that far away.
No.
Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, give the video a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.